So today we've got Ember here. We're trying to desensitize him to some stuff. He's still quite new and a little shy. And he's just kind of hanging along for the video. I thought anytime that it's good timing, it's not always good timing, but anytime it's good timing like this, where it's not too late in the day, when he's not shedding, when he didn't just eat, and it's good to kind of get him out and get him, you know, handle him a little bit. I thought, why not? Because it's a lot more entertaining to watch him than it is to, you know, watch just my boring face. So he's gonna kind of tag along for the video today. So shielding magic, in order to have a strong, really any kind of magic, you're going to need two things. You're going to need the belief and the confidence, and you're also going to need that sacred permission. The first type of shield that I want to talk about is your typical, just average shield that will protect against anything, you know, in the spirit realm, maybe other realms as well, and also it will protect against things that like other people that might be trying to, for whatever reason, might be trying to, through ill intent, attack you with some sort of magic. If you do not set up protection properly, although it is quite easy to learn, if you don't set that up, then there's literally, there's nothing. There's just a void. And so we automatically, won't I just kind of just have an automatic protection against that? Not necessarily, and not usually. Not usually. Usually you actually do have to have the act of setting up protection in some sort of either spell or ritual, or at least just some general form of you're intending that, okay, now I'm going to set this up. So setting up a protection shield, the common type of protection shield, that protects against, like I said, either spirits or someone else's magic. So if you are pure intent with this, and someone else, say, of ill intent, tries to combat you and they're squaring up against you, they won't even be able to get in. They won't, that shield, they won't, because you have pure intent, assuming that you have pure intent, just by laws of the universe, your magic is already much, much greater in strength than theirs. And so whilst these same people, to people who do not set up protection, to people who are vulnerable, to people who are easy targets because they don't have they'll purposefully sense it. They'll sense to see whether or not you've got it, and they like to go for the people who don't have it or don't have strong protection. They like to go for them first. Sometimes they'll get a little greedy and try to go for something or someone that does have protection, but they're after either some kind of strength that they have or magic that they have, that they want to take as their own, whatever. You know, there's many reasons. Who knows what those crazy people are up to? But what I'm trying to say is, say they come on like head on with you, their magic against yours. As long as you've got that belief in yourself, because unfortunately that belief bleeds into your intent. If the belief is weak, then the rest of your magic is going to be weak. But as long as you've got that, and then you've got, you know, the pure intent, there's absolutely no way that they can outpower you. But if you don't have those two things, then they might have, to somebody else who doesn't have protection at all or doesn't have adequate protection, they might have actually been able to do something as great as a hex that actually killed them. They might have, he's bored, can you tell he's yawning? They might have actually been able to kill people if they did not have that protection. So whilst, yeah, that the magic is, I guess, kind of strong, they're still going to get threefold for it. And once that threefold comes, they have no strength at all anymore. And people like that, their threefolds never end, because as soon as one ends, they start another. They just have way too much ill intent going on all the time, every day. You know, they never learn from their mistakes usually. But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, those people can, in some light, be kind of intimidating because they've been able to kill people with magic, you know. But as long as you've got, like I said, pure intent, and they try to do that to you, and you set up a protection shield, they won't be able to touch you, ever, never. They just won't, because that's the laws of the universe. Anything, actually ran across someone not too long ago that was convinced otherwise, that was convinced, one of those people that was convinced that, you know, their ill intent was stronger than anything else out there. And unfortunately, they found out the very hard way. Now they're basically bedridden. They found out the very hard way that that is not the case. As long as you've got that energy, all you've got to do is, with the intent, say, okay, I'm going to protect against all, say, let's just, for example, I'm going to protect against all malevolent spirits. Okay, let's go with that. You have to set it up as the intent that any spirit that is not malevolent can pass through and not be harmed. You have to think it that way, because if you don't, then, you know, you're shielding against them too. You're also thinking of it just as a shield. We're not actually talking about wards or anything, just as a shield that doesn't give any wrath. That's your basic shield. The shield that actually, when someone crosses a line and it gives wrath, that's more like warding. You know, where there's a consequence, you know, if they cross that line. Regular shielding is just a defense only, you know, no war magic, just a shield. And typically that is enough. Typically that right there is enough. Magic, any kind of magic, is very literal. You have to have that in mind when you create it. So it's best just to, with the mindset that, not just be like, okay, no one can come here. Don't do that. No one can come anywhere near me, anytime, anywhere. No spirit, no matter where I am. That's the kind of way you have to think. Unfortunately, magic does exactly, literally, what you tell it to. And so, if I just say don't come here, well, guess where here is? You know, so if you don't have that intent that it's anytime, anywhere, if you don't specify that intent, then that's where you can create loopholes and gaps and things in your protection shield. So just keep that in mind. And the rest, really, literally, as long as you've got that protection magic, the rest is, it's quite basic. All you have to do is think it, and then basically, as long as you've got that energy there, that protection energy, it should work. So where you get the energy from has to be something, obviously has to be something that you've done with pure intent, assuming that you're not pulling it from your own, but you can also pull it from your own self. Sometimes you can pull it from just your own energy. I do not have really any kind, I have maybe a little bit of cleansing and protection, but I don't have healing. So anytime I have to do any kind of healing magic, I actually have to work with someone or something else that has that within their blood. So just keep that in mind, and really that's all you've got to do. The last thing I'll say is that more than anything else, magic runs off of energy and intent. If you've got the right energy and the right intent, then quit worrying about specific ritual done specific way. Throughout history, our ancestors, more often than not, in the past several hundred years at least, more often than not, our ancestors had to do things in secrecy, meaning that they might have to literally just be sitting there completely still, not say a word, not move a muscle, and they had to create magic like that. In a ritual, you most definitely can't do something like that. You have to say things, you have to do things. As long as you've got the right energy, like I said, the right ingredients and the right intent, you can go a long way with just your thought. I can sit there and think, okay, I'm going to create a shield all around me. And if I have the energy to create said shield, then that shield will just be created because I'm thinking inside my head that I am going to manifest this shield. I don't necessarily have to say anything out loud. However, sometimes the ingredients might be something that you do need. You might actually need to use your voice because that's an ingredient. Or it might be something like a war horn. I have to use the war horn because I need that energy as an ingredient to create this shield. So, like I said, it depends on what you're doing. But what I'm trying to say is, even if I just blow the war horn, if I've got the right intent while I'm blowing it, I don't need a ritual, complicated ritual. I don't necessarily need that. All I have to do is be guided, and as to how long to play, which direction maybe to face, and in my head think, this is what I'm going to create with this. This is what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to make it in, this sound is going to be converted into this shield. Think, then do. Think, make it happen. There are certain things that absolutely need rituals. Protection shields are not one of those things, okay? There are certain things that absolutely need very specific rituals. But a regular old protection shield, you do not need any kind of fancy anything. Just think and do.